So I'll caveat this video to start with by saying that I've had one or two little visitors, snails visitors or slugs, and I have had to put some pellet down before any of the delicate amongst you get upset for using slug pellets. These aren't metaldehyde, they're iron-based pellet, and also this is an enclosed environment, so I'm not winging them around the garden for hedgehogs to pick them up. So I'd say it is very much an enclosed environment. So anyway, so as I said, I've had slug snails just nipping off a few new shoots, so they've got to be dealt with. I'm not going to work all year, 12 months a year, for them to destroy all the hard work that I put in. So apologies if that upsets anybody, but you can see in there just some shoots starting. Oh, there you go, just starting. It's on Lulapati, that's starting. Yeah, there are some shoots around. That's just there, just starting to get some growth there. That's on Scots Snowcat, the new miniature semi-cactus. And I think you can probably see some on my pot tubers of just there, Clearview Edie, and there. And just the eyes just coming through, just popping on Devon Candy, another miniature cactus, and even some on just there coming through. If it focuses, it's not going to, is it? You can just see the eyes probably on Formby Supreme. So yeah, there are a few just popping, but I wanted to sort of protect a few from annoying visitors, so hence the slug pellet. I've also taken out the tube heater actually, because it was still quite cold in here at night. I mean, I cover this tent with it's actually triple laminated. It's not packing bubble wrap, it's actually proper horticultural stuff. And I chuck fleece on the top as well, and a heater in there, and it was still a little bit cold at night. So what I've done, I've taken that tube heater out, and I'll put something a bit more beefy in there, that will just keep the air temperature. I don't need the air temperature too high, but I do need it sort of, it was going down to 4 or 5 degrees, so that's far too low. So I want it 10, 12, 14 degrees, but so we decided to put her on, and the electricity meter's going around 20 to a dozen. But anyway, I have actually started to at last make a bench up of, if I just move back this way a little bit without falling over, it's just a bench that I've chucked some fleece over. It's really roughly done, but it doesn't matter, it's only there for a couple of months, and then it all gets ripped down anyway. Just some timber that I had over, just to throw over the cuttings bench. Cuttings bench is about 12 feet long and about 3 feet wide, and I've actually put that tube heater in here, or will do, tube heater in here, and I'll cover this with that insulating bubble wrap, that horticultural bubble wrap. So it's another tent, fleece over the top of that, and shade netting, because cuttings are susceptible to flagging really badly if they're in a lot of sun. So to keep the sun off, I'll put some 80% shade netting in, and then what I'll do above here, I'll hang a couple of lights just to help the cuttings along. It's just becoming a damn storage bench at the moment. There is a few more trays there, some giants, but as you can see, there is actually a heat mat already on here. So I've got polystyrene, then the heat mat. Now I've got some, must put the plastic on the top. When you're watering anything, obviously you don't want the water going onto the heat mat, so not directly anyway. Then Then I'll pop some capillary matting on that as well when it arrives. I think tomorrow. I've got some coming from Amazon. And then the trays and the cuttings will invariably go on top of it. Heater will go in there just to keep the once again keep the air temperature. I don't like cuttings air temperature any more than about 14 degrees, to be honest. Heat temperature on the heat mat will probably be about 18 degrees C, which is what, 66 in old money. And I don't like the air temperature getting any more than 14 degrees, which is about 58 really. It's actually fairly cool, hence the reason why I want to put some shade netting over this structure for the cuttings to keep reasonably cool. And then I'll spray them. I'm in and out of the house all day because I do a lot of work from home and very local, so I can just pop in and I can spray them 4, 5, 6, 7 times a day if I need to. If I was out at work all day and I couldn't travel home or whatever, and I was out 8, 9 hours a day, I'd probably set up a misting system, but I'm fortunate enough that I do a lot of work from home and in the village that I live, so it's actually not a problem for me to pop back home and give all the cuttings a good spray. So as I say, we're back to things are moving very slowly. We are getting some eyes popping on some things, as I've shown you. I don't think, see if there's any more around. I think, have a look in there. I always get too close and then it goes all wobbly on me. But in there is actually, apologies, I'm having to reach over. There is actually some eyes coming on pink or peach as well. So I think there's some stuff coming over on those as well, just popping on Clearview Sundance. So yeah, we are getting a bit of life. We've been on about 6 days. Is it 6 days or 7? I'm not sure. But either way, we will be kind of moving within the next week or so, I would think. Probably there might even be some stuff here getting near the end of January that I might actually be taking some cuttings off, believe it or not. Once they do get going, they do push on fairly quickly. Those very early cuttings, some of them will be thrown away actually, because the early cuttings are very often quite thick. They can be hollow stemmed. It's not really worth keeping them. As long as you take the cuttings above the tuber line, 2 or 3 millimeters, don't take apart the tuber. I see so many people taking clumps of tuber off when they take a cutting, and it's painful to see, because actually you don't need to do that. And when we do videos later on, in probably 3 or 4 weeks time, we'll show you that it's really not necessary to do that. In fact, what you're doing is, by taking a little piece slither of tuber as well, what you're doing is you're damaging the growing point. So if you take the cutting 2 or 3 millimeters above the tuber line, what you'll get is 3 or 4 growing points from that point that you've taken the original cutting. So the original cutting might be thrown away, because if it's quite thick or hollow stemmed or both, I might chuck it away. It allows more growth to come, and those plants will then be used as mother plants to take more cuttings from. With each mother plant that I get, I can probably get 3 to 5 cuttings off of it. So some of these varieties I may only need, well, 5 or 6 original plants, and from that I can get 20 quite easily. So, you know, yeah, so everything's okay. As I say, I'm a little bit disappointed with a couple of nibbles of these damn slugs or snails, but as I say, hopefully this will sort it out now, and we can get them back moving again. And as I say, when we get the cutting bench fully properly done, this was only to give an indication of what I'm doing on the bench. I don't really need the cutting bench, you know, completed yet, because I've got no cutting. So, but it is nice to have it done and out of the way, so you can concentrate on other things. Tidying up basically is the big thing at the moment. But we'll get there, and we wish you well, everybody, and thanks for watching, and we'll speak to you all soon. Bye bye.